Godzilla times Kong the New Empire. Yep, that title was confusing to me too. Directed by Adam Wingard, written by Simon Barrett, who I love. If you've seen his interview with Red Letter Media, check it out. Starring Rebecca Hall, Dan Stevens, the usual suspects of a movie like this, directed by this director. What could go wrong? Honestly, I wasn't excited about this movie. I was very disappointed with the Godzilla franchise here made in America. I had just watched Godzilla Minus One when the trailer first dropped, and I really wasn't excited for it, to be honest with you. In fact, I got my reaction to the initial trailer here right now. Check it out. Oh, yeah, that's definitely made in America. The first Godzilla movie came out in 2014, almost quite a couple months away from 10 years ago, to be honest with you. That's crazy to me. That one was directed by Gareth Edwards, who also directed the fantastic independent film Monsters, that I recommend you check out when you get a chance. The movie was so good, so subtle, had all this atmosphere and all this really cool stuff. It was so good that the studio decided to fire him for the second one, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which had an epic trailer, super cool. Movie wasn't as good. They took it way too seriously. They thought they were so clever. The fight scenes weren't as good as I was hoping. They weren't as clever as even the first Godzilla movie. You could tell they put all their money into that movie trying to copy off of Marvel, copy the cinematic universe, set up this big monster verse. They released that Kong movie in 2017. Wasn't that great, but wasn't bad. And then they still somehow, even after all the shuffling, rearranging after the critical and commercial failure of Godzilla King of the Monsters, they still managed to bring out Godzilla vs. Kong, which ended up being not terrible. It was a lot of fun. It was directed by Adam Wingard, but you can tell it wasn't written by Simon Barrett. But Adam Wingard had a lot of fun making the movie. It was a good time with my friends, coworkers. We all got together and saw it. It was just a fun monster bash. So granted, when they announced a sequel, basically reusing the same exact concept, just taking out the verses and doing a Godzilla and Kong mashup movie, I wasn't as excited for it. Imagine if they announced a Batman v Superman 2. You remember how terrible that movie was? And then announced, oh, we're going to do the same thing again, but it's 2. Yeah, so I wasn't excited. It had more apes in it in the trailer. Godzilla's pink for some reason. All sorts of stuff I just didn't really care for. It didn't help I saw Godzilla Minus One a couple days before the new trailer came out. And I watched it and I was super like, it's just not going to be as good as Godzilla Minus One. So this new movie, how is it? How does it compare? How does it hold up? I went into this movie with absolutely zero expectations. The trailer didn't wow me. It's made in America. It wasn't going to be as good as the Godzilla movie right before it. Buddy of mine called me out of the blue. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I just wasn't excited to see this movie. I wish we could have bonded over something else. So let's talk about the story for a second and some of the characters. This is really hard to do in a Godzilla film, but the humans, as usual, are pretty not that great. They seem like a mashup of a bunch of cliches. Feels like you're watching them from the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but then it turns into Jurassic Park, and then they also ape off a Temple of Doom, and then a couple other King Kong adaptations. They just feel like a bunch of walking stereotypes, cliches, stuff that they felt like would test well with audiences and resonate with people. So they're walking around doing the Marvel stuff, they're doing the Marvel jokes, the quips, the fish out of water humor. There's the character that keeps talking and just keeps joking because he doesn't know where he's at. He's all confused. Everything's weird to him. All that stuff's in there. There's not a single Godzilla movie, exception of Godzilla Minus One, that manages to really make the human characters super interesting and that really catches your attention, where you wish you're watching them over Godzilla stomping over everything. So if you're coming in here expecting the humans to wow you, you're going to be very disappointed in that regard. I actually had no expectations with that. Don't go into this thinking that you're about to care about any of these humans. What I was really shocked about was how invested I was in Kong and the other apes. They actually did good with the visual effects here. Whenever Kong has an expression, when Baby Kong from the trailer has an expression on their face, you can tell what they're thinking, and you're actually really invested in the ape kingdom and what's going on there and the drama and the evil ape king. I was actually really invested. I wanted to see Kong liberate everything. I thought it was that part was really cool. I was surprised. They couldn't get humans right, but they really got the apes right. I also can't lie to you. I was resistant to this film. I was sitting here like, I don't think I'm going to like this. I think I'm going to hate it. I wanted to hate it, to be honest with you. I really wanted it to be bad compared to Godzilla Minus One. I was so invested in the Kong and the Ape Kingdom stuff that when we cut back to the humans, I was like, can we get them out of here? Can you kill them off? I really want to get back to the ape stuff. But let's be real here. You didn't go to Godzilla times Kong to watch the apes. You didn't come to watch the humans and the drama and what they got going on in their personal lives. You're here to see Big Lizard versus Big Monkey fighting each other, fighting other monkeys, fighting other monsters. And there is plenty of that. That's when the movie started to win me over. I fought it as hard as I could. I was resistant. I was ready to give up on it. I was like, man, I can't stand this stuff. But I cannot deny Adam Wingard is so good when it comes to action scenes. With Simon Barrett on, Just the writing for the monsters and the apes just really took off. It really shined. It's impossible to go to this movie and not have a great time with the action, the smashing, the collateral damage. All that is there. All the stuff that makes for a good Godzilla film. Adam Wingard and Simon Barrett definitely understand. And this was one of their best works as far as visuals go and fight scenes and stuff. It's not as well written as some of their other stuff like You're Next or The Guest and other stuff that they've done together. But I will say they understand the source material better than any other American writer has. Even Gareth Edwards, to be honest with you. They just know how to make monsters smash each other, smash buildings, destroy landmarks, destroy historical monuments. They understand that better than anybody else has before, especially in America. Yes, other Japanese films have done that better in a lot of ways, obviously. But here in America, they finally decided to give the audiences what they want. They don't care about the stupid characters that think they're smart. Here in America, we don't care about that stuff. We want to see big lizards fighting dumb monkeys, smashing into stuff, and that's what we get. There's plenty of it. I was really surprised. I could not deny as I was sitting there being skeptical and angry that this movie exists and it wasn't the -1 film, that I was having such a great time watching everything get smashed into each other. There's a lot of surprises, stuff that surprised me too. And I just think there's something here for everybody. There's stuff here for kids, for adults, if you just want to see stuff. The CGI is very fine. There's a lot of the green screen backgrounds that's obviously computer generated, but you're not there for that. It makes for great spectacle, just makes for an all-around great time. I actually would recommend this film, to be honest with you. When it was all said and done, I was like, man, this actually was a good time. There's no end credit scenes, at least as far as I'm concerned. I Googled it. There wasn't anything, so I left. Don't worry about staying past the credits parts. You're not missing anything. I will say, overall, story and character for humans was pretty weak, but it was elevated by the apes. The visuals were fun. There was a lot of smashing, everything that Americans want in a Godzilla film, what we kind of should have been getting from the beginning instead of the artsy-fartsy stuff. None of that is really present here. They knew what they were doing. They knew their audience. They just knew what to focus on for American audiences. So you want to have a good time this weekend, I recommend going to see it. Guys, overall, when it's all said and done, once you factor in the characters, visuals, and the story, I'd have to give this a mid to a high 6 out of 10. It's a very good time. No thinking required. Couple scenes where they're explaining what's going on. Other than that, focus on the spectacle. They do that really good here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys like and subscribe. If you want to see more, great. I'm going to bring more. If you don't want to see more, too bad. I'm going to keep uploading. See you guys next time.